Today we're continuing to read the Pilgrim's Progress. But for such footmen as thee and I are, let us never desire to meet with an enemy, nor vaunt as if we could do better, when we hear of others that have been foiled, nor be tickled at the thoughts of our manhood, for such commonly come by the worst when tried. Witness Peter, of whom I made mention before. He would swagger, aye, he would, as his vain mind prompted him to say, do better and stand more for his master than all men. But who so foiled and run down by those villains as he? Then Christian sang, poor little faith, hast been among the thieves, was robbed, remember this, whoso believes and gets more faith shall then be a victor, be over 10,000, else scarce over 3. So they went on, and ignorance followed. They went then till they came to a place where they saw a way put itself into their way, and seemed withal to lie as straight as the way which they should go. And here they knew not which of the two to take, for both seemed straight before them. Therefore here they stood still to consider. And as they were thinking about the way, behold, a man, black of flesh, but covered with a very light robe, came to them, and asked them why they stood there. They answered, they were going to the celestial city, but knew not which of these ways to take. Follow me, said the man, it is thither that I am going. So they followed him to the way that but now came into the road, which by degrees turned and turned them so from the city that they desired to go to, that in a little time their faces were turned away from it. Yet they followed him. But by and by, before they were aware, he led them both within the folds of a net, in which they were both so entangled that they knew not what to do. And with that the white robe fell off the black man's back. Then they saw where they were. Wherefore there they lay crying some time, for they could not get themselves out. Then said Christian to his fellow, now do I see myself in an error. Did not the shepherds bid us beware of flatterers, as is the saying of the wise man? So we have found it this day. A man that flattereth his neighbor spreadeth a net at his feet. They also gave us a note of directions about the way, for our more sure finding thereof. But therein we have also forgotten to read, and have not kept ourselves from the paths of the destroyer. Thus they lay bewailing themselves in the net. At last they espied a shining one coming towards them, with a whip of small cord in his hand. When he was come to the place where they were, he asked them whence they came, and what they did there. They told him that they were poor pilgrims going to Zion, but were led out of their way by a black man clothed in white, who bid us, said they, follow him, for he was going thither too. Then said he with the whip, it is flatterer, a false prophet, that hath changed himself into an angel of light. So he rent the net, and let the men out. Then said he to them, follow me, that I may set you in your way again. So he led them back to the way which they had left to follow the flatterer. Then he asked them, saying, where did you lie the last night? They said, with the shepherds upon the Delectable Mountains. He asked them then if they had not of those shepherds a note of direction for the way? They answered, Yes. But did you not, said he, when you were at a stand, pluck out and read your note? They answered, No. He asked them why. They said they forgot. He asked them, moreover, if the shepherds did not bid them beware of the flatterer. They answered, Yes. But we did not imagine, said they, that this fine-spoken man had been he. Then I saw in my dream that he commanded them to lie down, which, when they did, he whipped them sore, to teach them the good way wherein they should walk. And as he whipped them, he said, As many as I love I rebuked and chasten. Be zealous therefore and repent. This done, he bid them go on their way, and take good heed to the other directions of the shepherds. So they thanked him for all his kindness, and went softly along the right way, singing, Come hither, you that walk along the way. See how the pilgrims fare that go astray. They catched are in an entangling net, 'cause they good counsel lightly did forget. 'Tis true they rescued were, but yet you see they're scourged to boot. Let this your caution be. Now after a while they perceived afar off one coming softly and alone all along the highway to meet them. Then said Christian to his fellow, Yonder is a man with his back toward Zion, and he is coming to meet us. I see him. Let us take heed to ourselves, lest he should prove a flatterer also. So he drew nearer and nearer, and at last came up to them. His name was Atheist, and he asked them whither they were going. We're going to Mount Zion. Then Atheist fell into a very great laughter. What is the meaning of your laughter? I laugh to see what ignorant persons you are, to take upon yourselves so tedious a journey, and yet are like to have nothing but your travel for your pains. Why, man, do you think we shall not be received? Received? There is no such a place as you dream of in all this world, but there is in the world to come. When I was at home in mine own country, I heard, as you now affirm, and from that hearing went out to sea, and have been seeking this city these 20 years, but find no more of it than I did the first day I set out. We have both heard and believe that there is such a place to be found. Had not I, when at home, believed, I had not come thus far to seek. But finding none, and yet I should had there been such a place to be found, for I have gone to seek it farther than you. I am going back again, and will seek to refresh myself with the things that I then cast away for hopes of that which I now see is not. Then said Christian to Hopeful his fellow, Is it true which this man hath said? Take heed, he is one of the flatterers. Remember what it hath cost us once already, for hearkening to such kind of fellows. What, no Mount Zion? Did we not see from the delectable mountains the gate of the city? Also, are we not now to walk by faith? Let us go on, lest the man with the whip overtake us again. I say, my brother, cease to hear him, and let us believe to the saving of the soul. My brother, I did not put the question to thee for that I doubted of the truth of our belief myself, but to prove thee, and to fetch from thee a fruit of the honesty of thy heart. As for this man, I know that he is blinded. Let thee and me go on, knowing that we have belief of the truth, and no lie is of the truth. Now do I rejoice in hope of the glory of God. So they turned away from the man, and he, laughing at them, went his way. I then saw in my dream that they went till they came into a certain country, whose air naturally tended to make one drowsy if he came, a stranger, into it. And here Hopeful began to be very dull and heavy of sleep. Wherefore he said unto Christian, I do now begin to grow so drowsy that I can scarcely hold up mine eyes. Let us lie down here and take one nap. By no means, said the other, lest sleeping we never awake more. Why, my brother, sleep is sweet to the laboring man. We may be refreshed if we take a nap. Do not ye remember that one of the shepherds bid us beware of the enchanted ground? He meant by that we should beware of sleeping. Wherefore let us not sleep as others, but let us watch and be sober. I acknowledge myself in fault, and had I been here alone, I had, by sleeping, run the danger of death. I see it is true that the wise man saith, two are better than one. Hitherto hath thy company been my help, and thou shalt have a good reward for thy labor. Now then, said Christian, to prevent drowsiness in this place, let us talk about something profitable. With all my heart. Where shall we begin? Where God began with us. But do you begin, if you please? I will sing you first this song. When saints do sleepy grow, let them come hither, and hear how these two pilgrims talk together. Yeah, let them learn of them in any wise, thus to keep ope their drowsy slumbering eyes. Saints' fellowship, if it be managed well, keeps them awake, and that in spite of hell. Then Christian began, and said, I will ask you a question. How came you to think at first of doing as you do now? Do you mean, how came I at first to look after the good of my soul? Yes, that is my meaning. I continued a great while in the delight of those things which were seen and sold at our fair, things which I believe now would have, had I continued in them still, drowned me in ruin and destruction. What things were they? All the treasures and riches of the world. Also I delighted much in rioting, reveling, drinking, swearing, lying, uncleanness, Sabbath breaking, and what not, that tended to destroy the soul. But I found at last, by hearing and considering of things that are holy, which indeed I heard of you, as also of beloved faithful, that was put to death for his faith, and good living in vanity fair, that the end of these things is death, and that, for these things' sake, the wrath of God cometh upon those who disobey him. And did you presently fall under the power of this feeling? No, I was not willing presently to know the evil of sin, nor the destruction that follows upon the doing of it, but tried, when my mind at first began to be shaken with the word, to shut mine eyes against the light thereof. But what was the cause of your waiting so long? The causes were, firstly, I was ignorant that this was the work of God upon me. Secondly, sin was yet very sweet to my flesh, and I was loth to leave it. Correction, and I was loath to leave it. Correction, and I was loath to leave it. Thirdly, I could not tell how to part with mine old companions. Their presence and actions were so desirable unto me. Fourthly, the hours in which these feelings were upon me were such troublesome and such heart-affrighting hours, that I could not bear, no, not so much as the remembrance of them upon my heart. Then, as it seems, sometimes you got rid of your trouble. Yes, verily, but it would come into my mind again, and then I should be as bad, nay, worse than I was before. Why, what was it that brought your sins to mind again? Many things, as if I did but meet a good man in the streets, or if I have heard any read in the Bible, or if mine head did begin to ache, or if I were told that some of my neighbors were sick, or if I heard the bell toll for some that were dead, or if I thought of dying myself, or if I heard that sudden death happened to others, but especially when I thought of myself that I must quickly come to judgment. And could you at any time with ease get off the guilt of sin when by any of these ways it came upon you? No, not I, for then they got faster hold of my conscience. And then if I did but think of going back to sin, though my mind was turned against it, it would be double torment to me. And how did you do then? I thought I must endeavor to mend my life, for else, thought I am sure to be lost forever. And did you endeavor to mend? Yes, and fled from not only my sins, but sinful company also. But sinful company too, and betook me to religious duties as praying, reading, weeping for sins, speaking truth to my neighbors, etc. These things did I, with many others, too much here to tell. And did you think yourself well then? Yes, for a while, but at the last my trouble came tumbling upon me again, and that over the neck of all my trying to do right. How came that about, since you were now doing right, as far as you knew? There were several things brought it upon me. There were several things brought it upon me, especially such sayings as these: all our righteousness are as filthy rags. By the works of the law shall no flesh be made righteous. When ye shall have done all those things which are commanded you, say we are unprofitable. With many more such like, from whence I began to reason with myself thus: if all my righteousness are filthy rags, if by the deeds of the law no man can be made righteous, and if, when we have done all, we are yet unprofitable, then it is but a folly to think of heaven by the law. I further thought thus: if a man runs 100 pounds into the shopkeeper's debt, and after that shall pay for all that he shall buy, yet his old debt stands still in the book uncrossed, for the which the shopkeeper may sue him, and cast him into prison till he shall pay the debt. Well, and how did you apply this to yourself? Why, I thought thus with myself: I have by my sins run a great way into God's book, and now, and my now reforming will not pay off that score. Therefore I should think still, under all my present trying. But how shall I be freed from that punishment that I have brought myself in danger of by my former sins? A very good application, but pray go on. Another thing that hath troubled me ever since my late turning from sin is, that if I look narrowly into the best of what I do now, I still see sin, new sin, mixing itself with the best of what I do, with the best of that I do. So that now I am forced to conclude that, notwithstanding my former fond opinion of myself and duties, I have committed sin enough in one duty to send me to hell, though my former life had been faultless. And what did you do then? Do? I could not tell what to do, till I brake my mind to Faithful, for he and I were well acquainted, and he told me that unless I could obtain the righteousness of a man that never had sinned, neither mine own nor all the righteousness of the world could save me. And that's the end of the reading for today. Have a good day.